Participation in life processes. Introduction. Human body is a wonderful machine. It is a complicated structure than it appears. Different life processes in living organisms like respiration, digestion, blood circulation, excretion, nervous system, etc. are inbuilt in our body at their specific places and carry out their specific functions in a coordinated manner. The parts of the digestive canal or gut that are involved in the digestive process. The food is broken down at different stages. Every process is dependent on other to keep the body in good condition. Feeling hungry. Explanation. Smell of food, taste of food, sight of food, being tired and exhausted, need of food, thought of food. A major cause for feeling hungry lies in the physiology of blood circulation. Levels of different substances are generally maintained in the blood mainly by our digestive system. One of the major substances is glucose. When its levels in the blood fall, we get hunger pangs in stomach. This again involves production of a series of proteins, some of the hormones like ghrelin, secretion of the hormone ghrelin. In the stomach, it goes empty. Ghrelin is secreted from certain cells in the wall of the stomach. Hunger contractions start to occur in the stomach due to hunger generating signals that reach the brain from the stomach due to the secretion of this hormone. The diencephalon in forebrain and vagus nerve plays an important role in carrying these signals to the brain. Hunger pangs continue up to 30 to 45 minutes. Increase in ghrelin levels results in secretion of hunger and motivation to consume food. When you feel your stomach is full and there is no need of food anymore, another hormone leptin is secreted that suppresses hunger. We usually take food at a particular time. Every day usually start feeling hungry at that time. Outcome of sensation of hunger. Different organ systems are involved in the digestive process. Taste and smell are intimately entwined. This close relationship is most apparent in how we perceive the flavors of food. Anyone with severe cough and cold cannot make out the difference in taste of certain food items. Actually, really being affected is the flavor of the food. The combination of taste and smell, that's because only the taste nor the food odors are being detected. Taste itself is focused on distinguishing chemicals that have a sweet, salty, sour, bitter or umami taste. Interactions between the senses of taste and smell enhances our perceptions of the food we eat. Activity. Chewing cumin, that is fenugreek, saunf, that is fennel seeds, potato and apple. First, close your nose with your fingers. Pop in some zira in your mouth and chew it for some time. After some time, wash your mouth and repeat the activity by chewing a piece of an apple followed by a potato. While chewing, we can find various tastes because all these are dissolved in saliva. So, if you want to taste the food material, the food should dissolve in saliva. On the other hand, we can taste the food that is in the form of liquid only. There are different types of taste buds are present on the tongue. The dissolved food enters into the cup. Like taste buds, the sense of taste is carried to the brain for analysis. Then only we will know the taste of the food material. The air-borne substances get dissolved in the watery film of nasal mucus. The chemoreceptors in nose are otherwise called olfactory receptors, which target signals in the form of nerve impulses to the brain. Smell is detected. Similarly, we take food into our mouth. The taste buds send signals to the brain. Picking up the slight difference in smell, the food tastes are identified in our brain. Activity. Take a pinch of acetofoda powder or garlic and rub it on handkerchief or tissue paper. Close your eyes and smell it. Then try to identify of different types of food materials with the help of your friend. Sometimes mouth starts watering just by hearing the name like tamarind, lime, mango, etc. The food material is attractive to our eyes and flavor to nose. Then we taste it. Therefore, we eat. Our knowledge use our sight, nose and tongue for selecting food for ingestion. Russian scientist Pavlov has conducted experiments and found that even the thought of food will water in mouth. Taste is something connected to the tongue and the palate. The role of different parts of the mouth in helping us to taste. Activity. Sugar crystals over the tongue. Place some sugar crystals on your tongue. Keep your mouth opened and say that your tongue does not touch the palate. Record the time from the moment you place the crystals on your tongue till you got the taste by using stopwatch. Now, repeat the taste by placing the sugar crystals on the tongue and pressing it against the palate. Record the time from placing sugar crystals to getting the taste, or put a drop of sugar solution on your tongue using a dropper. Can we taste on dry tongue? No. Which way helped you to taste faster? Why? The taste can be identified easily when the tongue is pressed against the palate. Then the tongue is pressed against palate, the food substances is pressed against the opening of the taste buds. Taste, nose, mouth, tongue, brain, olfactory receptors, salivary glands, taste buds, mouth, the munching crushing. To comfortably munch your food, if you had lost some of your teeth. Activity: to show breakdown of food by using the model of chalk piece kept in vinegar. Break a piece of chalk into 2 halves. Crush one half to tiny pieces, leaving the other as it is. Take 2 small beakers, fill them half with vinegar and add the crushed chalk to one beaker and the other uncrushed half chalk to the other. After some time, we can find crushed chalk dissolved faster than the whole one. The above experiment tells us the need of mechanical crushing of food. Hence, the food in the mouth has to be broken down into tiny pieces. Increase the surface area for action of substances that aid in digestion. Activity: observe the model of chart of jaw. How are teeth arranged? All the teeth similar in shape and size. Dental formula explains the arrangement of teeth. On the basis of the figure, try to guess. What do you think could be the function of incisors? Incisors are for cutting the food into pieces. Which sets of teeth helps in grinding food? Premolar and molar teeth help in grinding food. Which set helps in tearing food? Canines set helps in tearing food. What is your dental formula? Dental formula: 2 by 2, 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3. The circular muscles of the mouth enable the food to be pushed into the oral cavity and to be moved around. As the food cannot be swallowed directly, the teeth grind, chew, and shred it. This process is called mastication. For this purpose, the surface muscles of the jaw help in biting and chewing actions and move the jaw up, down, forward and backward during food mastication. The teeth help in cutting and grinding, while tongue movements evenly spread out the food and help in mixing with saliva. The muscles of the mouth enable the food to be pushed in the oral cavity and to be moved around. The 5th cranial nerve has been found to control the movement of muscles in the jaw. Activity: action of saliva on floor. Take a test tube half filled with water and add a pinch of flour to it. Shake the test tube well till the flour gets mixed. Take a few drops of this in a watch glass and test for the presence of starch by putting a drop of diluted tincture iodine in it. A blue-black color confirms the presence of starch. Now, again dissolve a pinch of flour into half-filled water in a test tube. Now, divide the mixture into 2 equal halves by transferring it to another test tube. Note that both the test tubes have the same amount of solution. Add a teaspoon of saliva to one of the test tube and mark it. Do not add anything in the other test tube. After some time, add a drop of dilute tincture iodine solution to test tubes containing the solution. Do you observe any change in the solutions? Why does the change occur? Yes, the change occurs because Saliva changes the carbohydrates. Do you think same process goes in the mouth when food is taken? Yes. Activity: testing pH of mouth at intervals of 1 hour. Testing pH of mouth at intervals of 1 hour. Ask your chemistry teacher to give you a strip of pH paper with a color chart. You can do this in your school by taking a small piece of the pH paper and touching it to your tongue with the color chart and note the pH first. Say to it that you are able to take some readings after having your food at lunch break. Compare your readings with that of your friend. Take at least 4 readings. You have to prepare your own table to record your observation. What is the usual range of pH of your mouth? Acidic or basic? Basic. Did you observe any change in pH after reading? What may have caused the change? Yes. When we eat the food, saliva is secreted. So, we observe a change pH after eating. In what kind of pH do you think salivary amylase acts well? Salivary amylase acts well in alkaline pH medium. Based on the above tests, we know that the saliva secreted causes the medium to change to alkaline as it aids in action of enzyme salivary amylase. Travel of food through esophagus. The esophagus receives the food pushed by the swallowing action of the mouth. The following schematic representation shows some functional and structural attributes of esophagus. Esophagus. Walls secrete mucus, slimy substance. Passes food to stomach by wave-like movement of walls. Long tube upper end connects to pharynx. Muscular and elastic. Lower end connects to the stomach. Walls carry on wave-like movement by contraction and relaxation. Activity: making a model of esophagus to observe how bowels moves forward. Take a piece of waste cycle tube and insert 1 or 2 potatoes into it. Lubricate the inner side of the tube with oil. In the same way, smear oil over the potatoes. Insert oil-coated potatoes in the tube. Now, try to push the potatoes by squeezing the tube. Potato in a cycle tube moves by Bristol's movement. Oil inside the tube acts as lubricant to move the potatoes easily. Peristaltic movement in esophagus. The walls of the food pipe secrete a slippery substance called mucus. Mucus lubricates and protects the esophageal walls from damage. This helps the food bowls to slide down easily. The oiled potatoes that move in the tube. Besides this, the saliva in the bowls also aids in the easy movement of food, which moves into the stomach. The wall of the esophagus is made up of 2 kinds of smooth muscles. The inner layer consists of circular muscles, results in narrowing of the esophagus just behind the bowels. So, the food is squeezed downwards. Contraction and relaxation of these muscles bring a wave-like motion that propels the food bowls into the stomach by the action called as peristalsis. This is involuntary and under the control of autonomous nervous system. Stomach, the mixture and digester. The oral cavity, the nerves in the cheek and tongue are stimulated. These carry messages in the form of nerve impulses to the brain. These messages are transmitted from the brain to the wall of the stomach and stimulate the gastric glands to produce gastric juice. The walls of stomach secrete juice containing hydrochloric acid, that is HCl. The contraction of the stomach muscles squeeze and mix the food with the acids and juices of the stomach. These digestive juices into a stomach Rodgay-like consistency called chemie. Some large protein molecules are also broken down here. Peristalsis involves the contraction of the muscles behind the food and the relaxation of the muscle in front of the food, giving rise to a thrust that pushes the food forward through the digestive canal. Peristaltic movement in stomach has 3 stages. Propulsion. Peristaltic waves move from the fungus towards the phylories. Grinding. The most vigorous pressistiles and mixing action occur close to the phylories. Retropulsion. The phyloric end of the stomach acts as the pump that diverts small amount of chyme into the duodenum simultaneously, forcing most of its contained material backward into the stomach. Percentage. Emptying of stomach, emptying of small intestine. 50, 2.5 to 3 hours, 2.5 hours. Total 100%, 4 to 5 hours. 30 to 40 hours. Transit through colon. Our stomach is not like a bag with specific volume. It is like a pouch which is elastic in nature. The size of the stomach increases based on the food that we intake. Digestive juices are produced depending on the food material. The stomach would produce same amount of digestive juices irrespective of the food quality. The walls of the stomach would be destroyed. The HCl secreted by the walls of the stomach is strong enough to digest the hard bones as well. The stomach protected from the secretion of its own acids. Lab activity. Take 2 green leaves collected from your school garden. Graze 1 leaf with the petroleum jelly, leaving the other free. Add 1 or 2 drops of some weak acid on both the leaves. Observe them after half an hour or so. The leaf without petroleum jelly is damaged by the action of acid. The leaf petroleum jelly is protected from damage of acid. In the same way, the lining of mucus protects the walls of stomach by the action of acid, that is HCl. Travel of food from the stomach to the intestine. Now, food is a soap-like mixture when it leaves the stomach and enters the small intestine. The food enters the intestine. The acidic nature of the chyme initiates the production of hormones like secretin and cholecystokinin. stimulate pancreas, liver and walls of small intestine to secrete pancreatic juices, belly juice and Zucchus enterius. The absorption of nutrients by villi in the small intestine is a very selective process. The walls of the intestine allows only tiny nutrient particles to pass through. Coordination of digestive system with circulatory system. After the completions of digestion in small intestine, it enters into the blood through villi. In blood, the digested food gets oxidized after the energy is released. Releasing of energy from food occurs only when it enters into the blood. So, there is a great coordination between digestive and circulatory system. The neural apparatus of our digestive tract comprise of such a vast and complicated of neurons that it has been nicknamed by scientists as a second brain. At least 70% our immune system is aimed at the gut to expel and kill foreign invaders. The little brain in our inner yards, in connection with the big one in our skull, partly determines our mental state and plays key roles in certain diseases throughout the body. Although its influence is far-reaching, the second brain is not the seat of any conscious thoughts or decision-making, technically known as the energetic nervous system. The second brain consists of sheets of nerves embedded in the walls of the long tube of our gut or alimentary canal, which measures about 9 meters end to end from the esophagus to the anus. The second brain contains some 100 million neurons, more than in either spinal cord or the peripheral nervous system. This multitude of neurons in the energetic neuron system enables us to feel the inner wood of our gut and its contents, stimulating and coordinating the breaking down of food, absorbing nutrients, and expelling of waste requires chemical processing, mechanical mixing, and rhythmic muscle contractions that move everything down the line. Thus, equipped with its own reflex and senses, the second brain can control several gut functions, often independently of the brain. Explosion of waste. Explosion of waste via blood through the kidneys, skin, etc. are mainly salts, water, and urea. Is expelled in the form of stool. Imagine you made a roll by wrapping handful of leftover tea leaves in a tissue paper. Later, you press the roll gently and open it. The tissue paper had absorbed the water from the tea leaves. Similarly, the unwanted waste material reached the large intestine. The peristaltic waves move the stool into the rectum. The left side of the colon acts like a storage tank of feces. Water gets reabsorbed and the remaining waste, usually hard mass, gets stored in the last part of the large intestine. This smelly yellowish fecal mass, usually called as stool, is later expelled out of the body through the anus. There are two muscular layers helping the exit of stool. One that is under involuntary control and the other is under voluntary control. These muscular structures help in opening and closing of the apparatus of the canal are called as anal sphincter. If energy has to be obtained from food, it has to be oxidized. During inhalation, oxygen moves across the walls of the alveoli and enters the blood, the red blood cells, and gets distributed throughout the cells of our body. At the same time, CO2 from the blood moves into the alveoli of the lungs and breathed out during exhalation. During respiration, we breathe continuously by inhaling and exhaling air. This is an involuntary process controlled by the medulla oblongata of the autonomous nervous system. During respiration, the movement of the intercostal muscles or diaphragm moves the ribs cage, inflating and deflating the lungs. Air containing more of oxygen enters the bloodstream through lungs. The process of digestion is a complex process that involves many organs and organ systems. Though digestion occurs in the food canal, coordination of respiration and blood circulation is necessary, otherwise oxidation of food and transport of substances is vital for energy releasing process will not take place. This may lead to the shutdown of systems